This is Daily Blast Live. We're talking about what you're talking about.
You all ready for this?
Mm-hmm.
Dun, 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 dun.
This is a sham.
No. Y'all, just stop.
Get real.
Welcome to DBL. It's a very difficult day. Welcome to my co-hosts here and to all of you watching all across the country after another school shooting that happened yesterday. This time it was an elementary school in Uvalde, Texas, and that's about 85 miles from San Antonio. At least 19 children were killed and 2 teachers. They were all in a 4th grade classroom together, and it happened just days before the end of the school year. There's heartbreaking footage of parents who did have to line up to give DNA swabs to help identify the victims due to the carnage. And as you can see, they had to wait there into the night for the results. The shooter was an 18-year-old living in Uvalde. We are not naming him. We are not showing his picture. Officials say he purchased 2 assault rifles last Sunday, 6 days after his 18th birthday. We also know he barricaded himself in the classroom and was eventually shot and killed by authorities. This is the 27th school shooting this year, and right now this is the 2nd deadliest school shooting in our country's history, the worst for Texas. What did you all think when we saw this? What did you think, Lindsay, when you heard?
I remember during the pandemic, we had no school shootings to really report, and that was one of the, even though it was a tough time, that was one of the best parts about the pandemic, was that we weren't hearing all these shootings and violence. And so to know that we're out of it, and that's like the positive, but to see these school shooters, you said 27 already, it's just disheartening. And I don't understand why we can't come to some common sense legislation, because kids especially are the best of us. Kids are, you know, especially that sweet spot, that age is like just joy. They radiate joy, they're happy to be here, and their only goal is to be happy that day. And so if they can't safely learn and grow at their school and be protected, then this just doesn't feel like the place that anybody wants to be. Like, what are we doing? We can't fail the people that are supposed to lead us in the future. We cannot fail them. And so I just am tired of seeing this, and you know, there has to be something, there is something that we can do. And so, you know, I think everybody is tired of the thoughts and prayers. You keep seeing that all over social media. Like, nobody wants thoughts and prayers. People lost their kid. It's like an unimaginable thing. I mean, Jeff, you have a kid. You know, I was like holding Kinsley so tight last night. I was putting her down to bed and just like, oh my God, like imagine sending your kid to school and not seeing them again. It's terrible.
Yeah, listen, I feel the same as you. I'm sad, I'm angry, I'm all at the same time, because these kids had 2 days left to go, right? That's the happiest time when you're a kid to, you know, you're not really doing schoolwork, you're there playing with your friends. And imagine being that parent, waiting in line all night to take a DNA sample, not even going in to grab them or hope they're okay, to have that worry. As a parent, you don't know what that's like unless, I don't know what that's like, right? I don't know those feelings. But I'm angry at society, I'm angry at the government, I'm angry at a lot of things because we overcorrect society's issues, right? But when it comes to gun control and gun safety in these school shootings, we mentioned 47, there was over 675 shootings last year, okay? There's over 200 shootings this year, mass shootings. We just turn our back because there's money involved. Nobody wants to correct anything because then you're stepping out of your political box and then you're labeled something else. We overcorrect society with these labels. We overcorrect with, oh, I'm a Democrat. You must be a Republican. You must be a Trump supporter. Nobody wants to take the step outside their box and say, hey, why don't we have some red flag laws? This kid posted guns, 2 guns that he purchased when he was 18 legally. Two guns, okay? Put them on the internet. We flag people for what they say on the internet, but we can't flag someone who takes a picture of 2 assault rifles, buys 375 rounds of ammunition. There's no red flag for that. Let's not step out of our party's box and maybe figure out a way to do something. Let's just stay in our box and hope this won't happen again. Well, there's hundreds upon hundreds every single year, and until this hits home for you, a politician, someone watching at home, that's the only way this is going to get corrected. There's too much money involved in this, and it's never going to be corrected unless somebody steps out big, starting from the president down.
I fully agree with both of you. I don't have children, but I thought of all of you, and I also thought these children spent the last 2 years trying to not get COVID, and then they get shot. and it's like they just tried to survive their whole little lives. That's all they tried to do. I will agree with Jeff here. I'm really, really angry. 90% of America agrees in common sense background checks, red flag laws, and federal registry. 90% of us, we are being held hostage by senators that exactly what you said, have money in the NRA gun lobby. And our children are being sacrificed for that money. Their blood, their carnage. Parents couldn't even recognize their children to ID them. They had to swab the DNA because the faces were gone. Okay? So when we talk about this, 2022, we've had more kids shot than police in the line of duty. America's dream is now to dodge a bullet. That's what the American dream is in my head. As we go to break, we also wanted to take a moment. Oh, I don't even want to do this. To remember the lives lost yesterday. They shouldn't have been lost in Texas. 19 fourth grade students, 19, and 2 teachers. Our thoughts, our prayers, and for me, my anger and my activism are with their families and every single person in Uvalde today. We'll be right back.
Closed captioning provided by
Daily Blast Live is always focused, always on cue, always ready, always timely. This May, don't miss a day. DBL is all new every day.
Matthew McConaughey, he posted a statement on Facebook. You'll discuss at the end. So we'll see Matthew McConaughey, Taylor Swift, LeBron James, they all tweeted about it.
Yeah.
And then you'll say a lot of people are talking about NBA coach Steve Kerr on the Golden State Warriors. He expressed his anger at a press conference. Take a look. We'll see a SOT. It's about 20, 30 seconds. And then out of the SOT, you guys will discuss what you think of Steve Kerr, what he said. Do you really agree that Americans on both sides of the aisle agree on this? Will celebrities and notable people speaking out help do anything? And then once you discuss that, we'll have Amanda Gorman's poem in the wall.
I'll go to it, and I'll tell you to go to it.
Okay. We'll leave you with this.
Okay. Just wanted to get to you guys. Ray's Vibe says, can you imagine one person who wrote the Constitution seeing what we have done with guns and saying, good, this is exactly what I meant? I understand there's a right to bear arms, and no one's trying to take that away in terms of the Second Amendment, but you can't look at America today and think this is what we should have done. This is what they wanted. This is where we are.
There was a chart on the New York Times today that showed countries that are considered well off, like Australia, America, and we are the chart was those sharp V's. That's where we are as far as gun violence, and that doesn't include any suicides, and that doesn't include I think any gang violence or any considered violence. It just includes mass shootings.
Right.
So if they include all of that, I think our spike would have been to the top. That's the last time they calculated.
And this isn't a problem anywhere else but the United States. So there's got to be something going on here that's sparking that kind of reaction. We don't know what it is yet, but it's got to be something specific to the United States, right? I mean, I don't know where to start, how to figure out the problem, but somebody better start doing something because nobody's doing anything. That's where I'm at.
Welcome back. Some notable people are speaking out about the tragedy in Texas. Matthew McConaughey was actually born in Uvalde and described yesterday's act of violence as an epidemic we can control. He posted a statement saying, whichever side of the aisle you may stand on, we may stand on. We all know we can do better. We must do better. Taylor Swift broke her Twitter hiatus saying, filled with rage and grief and so broken by the murders in Uvalde. And LeBron James tweeted simply, there has to be something to change, has to be, praying to the heavens above to all with these kids these days in school. And a lot of people are talking about NBA coach Steve Kerr of the Golden State Warriors. Now, he expressed anger at a press conference. Take a look at this.
Do you realize that 90% of Americans, regardless of political party, want background check, universal background check. 90% of us, we are being held hostage by 50 senators in Washington who refuse to even put it to a vote, despite what we, the American people, want. They won't vote on it because they want to hold on to their own power. It's pathetic. I've had enough.
What do you think about that kind of anger about Stephen Witt? He said, I'm just not going to talk about basketball. It just does not matter. What did you react to?
I think he speaks for, he speaks for me, at least. I don't even know how to speak for America anymore, because when you speak, half people, you want to be proactive, right? And everyone else on these stupid things are reactive. And then people in power take these idiots and then they react to their reaction.
They're listening to them.
Instead of being proactive, they're listening to idiots giving their reactions about things they know nothing about. I don't know a lot about politics, right? But I agree with Steve Kerr. They're holding us hostage, right? And I'm not saying take away anyone's guns. Keep your guns. I'm for bearing arms. I want to protect my family. Do you need to purchase 2 assault rifles when you turn 18 and get 300 rounds plus of ammunition?
Is that what the founders meant?
We need to start getting ideas. And instead of putting ideas out there, we're put into these boxes. And if you go outside of your box, oh, I'm Republican, I can't lean to that side. Oh, I'm a Democrat, I can't lean to that side. Can we have duality of thought? Can we have guns, but maybe not guns that could shoot up a school in 5 seconds? Like, why don't we start giving some ideas out there? Why don't we start putting some ideas out there and stop listening to morons when you put your idea out there? Oh, they reacted this way. I don't know if I'm going to get these votes. We need leadership in this country. We need leadership. We need people to be proactive. And who cares what these morons say? We need to fix this problem. We're fixing society's problem to a point where the pendulum's already gone, but we do nothing. We sit and nothing when there's hundreds, 700 last year, plus 200 this year. Oh, well, thoughts and prayers. Till it happens next time. We'll see you guys tomorrow. And I don't know.
In response to what you just said, which is amazing, is that Chris Murphy from Connecticut, a senator who was the lawmaker during Newtown, during Sandy Hook, got on his knees on the floor of the Senate and begged his Republican counterparts to do something. There's so much inaction. There's so much cowardice. There's so much I'm keeping the money that at this point we're sacrificing children for the right to bear arms. He begged them to at least make some movement, and some Republicans got across that aisle and decide there's got to be a bipartisan bill that can help. We did it in '94. We banned assault rifles, right? And everything, mass shootings went down 70% from 1994 to 2004. Lindsay, what did you think about these people and what they're saying?
I mean, Sandy Hook was 2012, so it was 10 years ago. And, you know, to see that we're still having that same exact conversation.
The same one.
Is disheartening. And, you know, that's the thing even with social media, like you were speaking to. We talk about something, we're all crying, we're outraged, we're angry. We yell and we, you know, do this whole thing, and then we go to the beach. Yep. And then we, you know, it's just like this cycle of like something has to change. Like we can't just accept that, you know, the idea that lawmakers are holding us hostage. We can't accept that. We have to actually, every single thing has to lie on this vote. So when you go out and vote and say, oh, well, they represent me in this way because of this idea that I have, the number one issue, if you don't want kids to die at school, has to be what they're going to do to change the law to protect children. To protect people. I mean, this just in the last month we talked about people like that look like my grandmother and people that I love getting shot up in Buffalo, just trying to go grocery shopping. So, you know, this is just 2 instances that made national headlines. I know somebody got shot in New York on a subway the other day that was headed to the Bronx coming from work, I think an employee of a bank. So this is like everybody's feeling unsafe. And when Steve Kerr says that number about a large majority of people 90%. Want sensible gun control laws, that's true. So what are you going to do with your vote to make sure that that's enforced?
And there are, just so you know, websites to go to find out if how much your senator and your representative are getting paid by the NRA and the gun lobby. At this point, they're running things. They're the only ones taking action, in my point of view, the NRA and the gun lobby. Lauren Boebert, who is actually a representative of Colorado, just tweeted out, "You can't legislate away evil." Then what are you doing? Why are you at your job if you're not interested in legislating anything to make this better for this country? You're going to sit there and you're going to take your money and you're going to let kids be killed.
Yeah, I don't understand when people are going to wake up. You know what I mean? Like how the government is just all over us, right? Everything they do involves money. everything. We jump all over this pandemic. We make people wear masks. We have to do all this. But hey, go ahead and get yourself a pack of cigarettes and do whatever you want to do with your life. Because there's money in tobacco. There's money in guns.
Yep.
There's money in pharmaceuticals. There's money in this.
Yeah.
And when are people going to wake up and see that? But no, you know what? Write in your reactions about what you think if I'm Democratic or Republican or whatever the hell you think it is.
Yeah.
I'm so tired. I'm
You're
tired of it.
You're done.
You know what I mean? I'm tired of it. And until it happens to my kid, and then, I mean, I don't know. I just don't know anymore. Nothing's going to be done.
Because
I'm sitting up here babbling for no reason.
Because there is inaction, and we're being held hostage by that inaction, and it's all because of what you said, money. Now, before we go, we are going to leave you with this poem from activist Amanda Gorman.
This one.
Food and Drug Administration published a recall notice for Jif peanut butter products on May 20th. Its parent company, J.M. Smucker, announced some products may be contaminated with salmonella. The FDA advised customers with jars with these lot numbers to dispose of recalled products immediately and to sanitize any surfaces and utensils that came into contact with the affected products. That left some customers wondering on social media whether they could get their money back. So let's verify. Can you get a refund if you purchased recalled Jif peanut butter products? Our sources are the J.M. Smucker Company and 6 major retailers nationwide. The FDA's recall notice doesn't make any mention of a refund, but a Smucker spokesperson tells Verify customers can get a voucher for a new jar if they fill out an online form. All 6 of our retail sources said they will refund customers who return a recalled item. So, yes, you can get a refund if you purchased recalled Jif peanut butter products. With your Verify, I'm Brandon Lewis.
The Office of Personnel Management released new guidance to federal agencies to help them start a more skill-based hiring approach. It focuses more on what candidates can do rather than their education degrees. It's also more inclusive because it can make it easier for people without degrees to show their talents. More companies are hiring this way. According to a March report by LinkedIn, about 40% of employers used skills data to hire people. And companies that use skills data are 60% more likely to find a successful hire. A 2020 executive order from President Trump asked the Office of Personnel Management to help agencies adjust to skills hiring. President Biden is extending that order to the end of this year so all agencies can adopt in time.
Welcome back. We're going to lighten things up here today. That was Love Talkin', the latest single from Eli Young Band. And before the terrible tragedy in Texas happened yesterday, we spoke with 2 members from the group, Mike Eli and John Jones. Check it out.
I was kind of having this conversation the other day about love. I feel like the word love is gone from a lot of R&B songs, but not in country. Why do you think country songs still have a lot of love in the title?
I think just it works for everybody. It's one of those things we can all relate to. And, you know, as songwriters, it's something you can like think about your first love. You can, you know, it's heartache. It's everything in between. It's the breakup song. It's the I'm in love now. I've been in love for a long time. You know, life is good. It always works.
Here for it.
Definitely. Now, this is something I love, which is not only you guys, but the Dave Matthews Band. I go to concerts every single year. I go 3 times in a row. What was it like performing with Dave Matthews Band back in your early days? Was it fabulous? Was it intimidating?
That was the first big tour we were ever on. We were just a regional band, hadn't really had much national success. And he brought us out for a string of shows, and he could not have been a nicer person. And he introduced us to the crowd, you know, ladies and gentlemen, the Eli Young Band. And then he stood there side stage for our entire set every single night watching us, where the audience could see him. So it really just drew them in to say, these are guys that I want to bring on tour. you should give them your time. And that was like the coolest introduction into, the bigger music scene for us.
Obviously, Dave Matthews is an incredible artist, and sharing the stage with him was always it was a big deal. So way back then, it taught us a lot about continuing on that whole thing of being that kind of headlining artist that is good to the guys coming up that open up for you. So.
Well, Mike, does the band ever have disagreements, like when writing a song? Who has the, quote, final say?
Ooh, Sam.
We were always really good at communicating. I think the reason that we've lasted 20 years was that we listened to each other, and we put our relationship at a priority. It really has worked itself out in a way. I think the four of us can really kind of come to the same consensus pretty quickly after 20 years of being, families.
Well, speaking of love, let's get to your new album, Love Talking. John, we heard your favorite song on the album was Break Up in a Bar.
Yes.
We got to know, is this based on a true story? Please tell.
It is not, but it's a wonderful idea. The whole song, it's kind of your, I don't know, little tongue-in-cheek, a country song, straight middle of the road, kind of clever, about all the advantages of breaking up in a bar.
But when somebody breaks your heart, moving on ain't half as hard when you break up in a bar.
You're already where you're going to end up anyway. You're gonna have that drink, but it's kind of the bar is everything that you want after that breakup. It's your friends who are there to bring you back up. It's someone new to meet. It's the drink to settle you down. It's all that stuff. So
I think that you followed me through my 5 years at university. This was actually the theme song to my university romance story. So thank you for that.
Love it. And Mike, do you have a favorite song on the new album?
I wrote most of them, and so my connection is pretty deep to all of these songs. Love Talking is probably one of my favorites, but I think that there's also a song on there called Tell Me It Is that is that moment. Most of these songs were written in 2020 and the beginning of 2021, and that was obviously a very vulnerable and weird time for us of moving on into whatever was happening. And so Tell Me It Is was pretty personal. And so I'd have to say, though, between those two, but Love Talking is obviously, I think, an incredible pick for the first single. So
How have you guys grown as a band with Love Talking compared just to some of your earlier albums?
we've experienced so much of our lives, over half of our lives together. And so we have a lot of experience to draw on. In the studio this time, it was just so easy, and we had missed playing together so much over this long COVID break that it was great to get back in the studio together. Mike wrote almost 100 songs, somewhere around there. So we had a huge bucket of songs to pick from, and it was just a great feeling to be back in the studio.
I love that.
That's a good title, Bucket of Songs, for your next.
I was thinking it'd be a good song called 100 Songs.
Okay.
Well, congratulations.
It is a good idea.
It is.
All right.
Thank you.
Are trying to play me.
Both Mike and John, thank you so much for chatting with us. Be sure to get their new album, Love Talking, out on June 3rd.
So cute.
We appreciate you guys. Congrats. We'll be right back.
It's better than Bucket of Songs.
I think Bucket of Songs sounds really
I like 100 songs.
Promotional consideration is brought to you by...
As gas prices remain high, Verify is hearing from you about claims to save money at the pump. Doug sent us an article about the product Eco Plus and wondered, does it work? So let's verify. Does the product Eco Plus guarantee money savings on gas? Our sources, AAA, Patrick DeHaan from Gas Buddy, and Eco Plus. Let's dive into some of the claims from the company. When we visited the company's website earlier this week, it claimed using the device would reduce your fuel consumption up to 55%. In Eco Plus's words, the device remaps your car's electronic control unit to optimize fuel consumption according to your driving habits. Verify reached out to the company asking for data to support its consumption reduction claims. A spokesperson got back to us saying its device actually offers a 15% reduction, and it was working to correct the website. EcoPlus says it didn't have specific data because of limited resources. Since then, EcoPlus's website has changed, and that 55% claim is gone. Still, industry experts are skeptical about devices like this.
I'll just say it this way. If your car could be designed to get that better fuel efficiency, it would have, because car manufacturers want to advertise higher fuel efficiency when they can, but a lot of these devices are just gimmicks.
AAA saying, quote, these types of devices are largely untested and claims unverified by third-party testing. DeHaan diving into his own experience working on cars to elaborate.
You basically have to hack into the engine computer to get access to it. It's not as easy as it sounds. It's kind of like hacking an iPhone now, right? They're really hard to get into.
So we can verify, no. Based on EcoPlus's current information, using the product does not guarantee money savings on gas.
Detectives learned that Nikki left her residence on June 5th. She returned early in the morning on June 6th and left again a few hours later. There were no further contacts or sightings of Nikki since that time.
Police say a Vancouver teenager missing since this summer has been found dead.
As experts warn about a possible recession, you may want to think twice before jumping ship at the office. Let's connect the dots. The Great Resignation is still in full swing. Just last month, about 4 million workers left their jobs. But the market in which job seekers are moving in is changing rapidly. As inflation soars, central banks are moving quickly to hike interest rates, which only increases the likelihood of a possible recession. Career experts warn people should be cautious about moving job roles. Many experts say companies will typically lay off new employees first, if they become necessary. But for some, the benefits of a new job still outweighs those risks. If you plan on looking for a new job, experts say to look while you're still employed in your current role. And if you plan to move industries altogether, do your research first. Look at what industries are typically hit the hardest by recessions and which ones usually thrive. And that is Connecting the Dots.
Welcome back. It is National Senior Health and Fitness Day. That's today's Focus on Fitness presented by QB. So if you're an older adult, now is the perfect time to make moves towards your health and fitness goals. And here are some simple ways to take charge. Start with a health screening. This will help identify critical areas of improvement and assess your overall health. Next, being fit includes mental health. Introducing brain games like chess and crossword puzzles keeps your brain active and youthful. And a hike. It's a great way to get exercise. Rocky trails can be dangerous, but try a guided tour at a museum or zoo. And QB. It's also a great way to get some quick exercise regardless of physical ability or age. Try their under-desk elliptical at home. Call 1-800-556-2089 or visit QB.com to learn more. Now, I know a lot of you are feeling helpless, and it's a terrible feeling to feel after hearing what happened in Texas. There is something, though, you can actually do. There's a GoFundMe set up for the families of the Texas elementary school shooting. So go to GoFundMe and search for Texas elementary school shooting if you want and are able to donate. We also have some comments. Barb says anyone who doesn't see a problem is the problem. Steve Childer says crazy people will be crazy people and killers will be killers. And Ray says I think if you're under 21, parents need to be held accountable. Well, we know something has to change. That's what we know for sure. DBL's New Every Day. We'll see you same time, same place tomorrow. Thanks for being with us.